Good day. I just wanted to say I just came out of Planet Fitness, and there is a man shaving in a women's bathroom. I realize he wants to be a woman. He gets to be a woman. I love him in Christ. He's a spiritual being having a human experience. He doesn't like his gender, so he wants to be a woman, but I'm not comfortable with him shaving in my bathroom.
In the bustling town of Fairbanks, a story unfolds at a local Planet Fitness that captures attention far beyond the gym's mirrored walls. Patricia Silva, a gym member, finds herself at the center of a controversy that spirals into a debate touching on privacy, identity, and inclusivity. One ordinary day, Silva captures a photo of a transgender individual shaving in the women's locker room, sparking a sequence of events that leads to her membership being revoked. The image, swiftly shared on social media, ignites a firestorm, propelling the incident into the public eye. Planet Fitness, known for its commitment to a judgment-free zone, stands firm in its inclusive policies, yet faces backlash as its stock value takes a hit, tumbling by over $400 million. The gym, in response to the evolving situation, assigns an employee to accompany the transgender customer in the women's locker room, a move meant to navigate the delicate balance between inclusion and the comfort of its members. This decision, however, does little to quell the growing dissent. Silva's encounter with the individual who claims to be transitioning becomes a focal point of contention. Her actions, driven by concern for a young girl in the locker room and a belief in traditional gender norms, clash with the gym's policies against discrimination in photography within its facilities. The ripple effects of the incident extend beyond the gym's doors. Community members voice their opinions loudly, with some canceling their memberships in protest, while others ponder joining different fitness centers. Silva, not deterred, seeks to channel her experience into legislative action, advocating for laws that align bathroom access with birth-assigned gender, despite facing resistance from local authorities and political figures.
Well, I was offended. I took a picture of him, and I asked him, "Why are you there? You're a man with a penis. Why are you in the women's locker room?" And he justified by saying, "I'm queer LGB," and I said, "You shouldn't be in the women's locker room." Well, I left.
So that was Planet Fitness customer Patricia Silva recalling an incident at the gym's Fairbanks, Alaska location, where she says a biological man was shaving in the women's locker room. Silva saying that there was a young girl who was in a towel, freaked out by the incident, and so she confronted him.
And then she reported it to staff at the front desk of Planet Fitness, who didn't really do anything, she says. Following her video, though, the video online, Planet Fitness suspended Silva's membership, saying she violated its policies. And since then, Planet Fitness's stock has taken a nosedive. Take a look at these numbers on your screen, dropping by more than 6% in the last week. Patricia Silva is the woman who had her membership revoked following the incident. She joins us here on National Report. Patricia, thank you so much for coming on. And again, your video has gone viral. Many people work out again at Planet Fitness. They're seeing a loss, obviously, over this viral video. We watched the video, and seemingly there's no hate speech involved in it. Again, you talked about your Christianity, your acceptance of everyone. But just the sheer fact of being uncomfortable with a biological man in the women's locker room. Can you take us back to that moment?
I'd be happy to, and I want to first thank you for having me on today. I think this is a very important message for not just for every gender in the world. We need to remember that every life matters, and we want to be able to accommodate, but we also want to keep safe spaces for, men, women, and other. So there are solutions to this problem. You just have to get people to go with that.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So anyway, I went into the gym, getting ready to work out. And as I walk in the gym, there's a man in the mirror, and his reflection and my reflection, he was actually shaving his face. And full face shaving cream. And I walked past him and counted to 10 because I wanted to be calm. And as I walked out, I noticed that girl sitting in the corner. She was a young girl. I can't say what her age was, but she was wrapped in a towel, and she appeared to be very terrified that this man's in her locker room. And I said to him, "Hey," and he looked up. I took a picture of him, this one, and I said, I don't want to be vulgar, but I said, you know, you're a man with a penis and you're in a woman's locker room, and that's not okay. You need to leave. And he argued with me, said, I'm LGB, I'm transitioning, and I can stay. And I said, you're making this a very uncomfortable situation. You need to leave. And he wanted to argue, so I walked out the front door. And as I walked out the front door, I stood at the edge of the bathroom because I wanted the desk was about 25 yards away, and I want everybody in the building to hear me. So I said, excuse me, there's a man in the women's locker room shaving his face, and it's not okay. And so I proceeded to walk out the door, and as I'm going out the door, a woman says, it's a girl. I said, it's a man. And that was that take on it. And I walked outside, and I videotaped that message, and then I went home. And the next day, about 8:55 a.m., Planet Fitness called me, and they said they were canceling my membership because I crossed boundaries. And I said, explain, please. And they said, you took a picture in the men's locker room. And I said, the sad part about this whole thing is that man can walk up to this desk and he can say he's a man, and you're not asking for a government ID that I can tell. And he now gets to enter. Now, it's not just him, it's any man that walks the streets. And that's what costs us our children and our women's vulnerabilities, rapes many times. I mean, this guy might be just fine. He might not be a perpetrator, but guess what? He's a man. He was born man, and he should choose not to be in the women's locker room, and that is my heart.
Yeah. So again, Patricia, you were saying that the photo of the person on the screen, a biological man, clearly so, claims to be a woman and therefore was using the women's locker room at the Planet Fitness. And you pointed out that you noticed that there was a young girl, unclear of the age, but clearly under the age of 18, a minor girl who was in a towel wrap, felt uncomfortable that, again, a full-grown adult male was using the same space as she was, and you took issue with that. And again, there's a reason why this story has gone viral, Patricia, and I think it's just because you are voicing such an obvious concern that many women and men would share when it comes to the safety of a woman's space. And we've been following the story. Now you've been kicked out of Planet Fitness. We do have a response by Planet Fitness, and they claim it's because you violated the gym's policies. We'll read it here for our viewers. The policy regarding transgender individuals, reading this: all members will have access to restroom and locker room facilities that correspond to their self-reported gender identity to the extent permitted by applicable law. If it is confirmed that a member is acting in bad faith and improperly asserts a gender identity, they may be asked to leave and their membership may be terminated here. So again, Patricia, were you aware of this policy? Do you believe this is an acceptable policy here?
Number one, it is not an acceptable policy. Again, any man can walk in that room, walk in the gym, and say, I'm a girl, and walk in there. It doesn't matter. They don't have to verify anything. They have no accountability for that. Number one. Yesterday, a friend of mine went in the gym, and she said she walked in, and there he was again shaving, but this time he had one of the employee women from the front desk in the room with him to protect him, to let the women walking in the gym know that he has authority to be there. And if they're uncomfortable, they can go find a stall. So here what they did, what they do there, they took a woman's rights, her safe space, and they created an unsafe space for this man or for men. And they are, I feel like that is not kosher.
Ms. Silva, I'm just dumbfounded because that's the first time I've seen a picture of this individual, and it's clearly a man in the bathroom here, despite what is going through this person's mind. But it's clear as day. And anyone that's walking in the women's restroom, seeing this person in there, obviously would be thinking, "Hey, you might have wandered in the wrong restroom here. You might want to change." Aside from that, you spoke out about it. You put the video out about it. There's been statements put out by Planet Fitness speaking out about this. I'm curious to know Have you received any backlash about you speaking out, about you taking the picture of this man in the women's bathroom? Has anyone reached out on social media about this to you?
Well, of course, you know, once you get one person's opinion, everybody has one, and especially, you know, the left have threatened to come into my driveway. You know, what they forget is, you know, we're concealed carriers in Alaska, and we're not afraid to stand up for our rights. But there have been threats to come to my driveway. You know, I reached out to the police and asked, what are my rights? I would like an investigation over this man walking in Planet Fitness and with the authority to go into the bathroom without any validation that he is a man or male or female. And they basically told me I had no rights, that he has every right because he identifies as a girl. And I had a few words with them, and then I hung up because, you know, I took that picture for them. And I took that picture to show the community. I was bringing an awareness to Fairbanks. I had no clue, of course, that this would go viral. And I'm very glad it did, because this is going to be more than that for me now. I mean, this is my mission. I'm a very passionate, very compassionate also. You know, I believe that this person has the right to have an establishment where he too can feel safe. And it is not in the women's bathroom. Someone reached out yesterday and said, you know, he doesn't have any place else to go, or she doesn't have any place else to go. I said, if your born identity is male or female, you have the exact place to go. Otherwise, these establishments that wants to accommodate transgender, non-binary, they really should take the liberty to create a safe space for them if they can't go in their designated, you know, gendered bathroom, which is male. So that's my take on that too. Yeah. But you know what? Back in 1848, women fought really hard for our rights. I mean, we fought for our rights, and it wasn't easy. There was a lot of criticism that came with that. And we're not about to give it up now. I mean, in 1848, there was a tea party of 4 women. And I think Elizabeth Stanton headed that group. But they came a long way to help us to achieve our greatness today. And there is no way we're going to let the Biden administration, who's opened the floodgates to allow these things to happen, not just in our bathrooms, but in our locker rooms and facilities and women's sports and schools. Yeah. I mean, story time. That is so disturbing that this gets to happen. So it's not just about someone getting in the locker room. It's about everything that's being accepted in our society. So we're going to fight this in the way of helping to achieve goodness.
Yes, you know, every single day, it seems like there's something new where you've got a biological man who is either competing against a female athlete or being in the space of a female. And it's an endless stream of stories that we've been following here on this network. And again, it reaches Americans throughout the country, all the way to Alaska, clearly in your case. A spokesperson for the gym franchise did respond to this specific case, saying this: as the home of a judgment-free zone, Planet Fitness is committed to create an inclusive environment. Our gender identity non-discrimination policy states that members and guests may use the gym facilities that best align with their sincere, self-reported gender identity. The member who posted on social media violated our mobile device policy that prohibits taking photos of individuals in the locker room, which resulted in their membership being terminated. So again, that from the Planet Fitness spokesperson. We've